Hello, Sarah of SEK Handmade here, and today I'm going to share with you how to work the linked half double crochet. Let's go. Linked stitches are so much fun to play around with. They give a really unique texture, and since they are a multiple of one, oh my goodness, you can really go crazy making a project, whatever size you want. The linked half double crochet is a multiple of one plus your turning chains. So if you've been around here with me, you know I have a thing about turning chains and how they are a matter of personal preference, I feel, which I'm sure not everyone would agree with me. But let's start with 5 linked stitches, which means I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I need my turning chain. Now, I'm going to show you the traditional way to work this stitch, and then I'm going to show you how I modified it because I think it looks nicer for the way I make my chains. So they're going to tell you you should chain 2. So 1, 2. Then you're going to skip your first chain and you're going to pull up a loop in your second chain from your hook. Whoops. There we go. So I have 2 loops on my hook, and since I'm making a half double, I'm going to insert into the next chain and pull up another loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook. And I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through all 3 loops just like a half double crochet, and that's my first linked stitch. Now, what makes a linked stitch is that we're going to link them all together by pulling up a loop in this bar here. So you're going to start off by inserting your hook into that bar, yarning over, and pulling up a loop. Then you're going to insert into your next chain and pull up another loop. I have 3 loops on my hook, and again, I'm going to yarn over and just pull through all 3 loops. Then I'm going to repeat that process all the way down my chain. Insert into my bar, 2 loops, insert into my next chain, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And so 2 more. And there is our first row of linked half double crochets. You can see that fun line of the bars that we pulled up across the middle there. That gives it just such a great texture. So I showed you the chaining 2. My preference and what I think makes my edges stay really neat is only chaining 1. So I'm going to show you how I do that now. I'm going to chain 1. And before I turn my work, I just find it's easier to catch that back bump before I turn. I'm going to insert my hook into that back bump of the chain and pull up my loop. Then I'm going to turn my work and insert my hook into that first stitch and pull up a loop. And now I've got my 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through the 3 loops on my hook. Then the rest of the stitches are worked exactly the same. So all I did is that I did not leave that extra chain between the top of my stitch and the first bar that I pulled up. So pull up a loop in the bar, work in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 3. I'm going to work across to show you just that the difference in shape of my fabric. Again, which you choose, 2 chains or 1 turning chain, is totally up to you. So I'm back to my first stitch here, yarn over, pull through all 3. I'm going to do a couple more rows and then we can look at it a little more carefully. So now you can really compare my first row where I did the 2 chains versus my next rows where I only did 1 chain. I still end up with the exact same number of stitches. It's just a matter of how much space you need to turn your row and whether it leaves you with a really smooth edge or whether it leaves you with a little gap. And you may chain 2 and not end up with this gap, and that is totally fine and normal. Like I said, all a matter of personal preference. And there you have it. Linked stitches are just another fun way to create unique fabric in crochet. I hope that this tutorial makes linked stitches super easy for you. I have more tutorials on linked stitches, and I will link them below. Thank you again for joining me today, and happy crafting!